Hello, welcome to Relation Tales. Today we're going to have some more stories from Reddit. But before we start, it would be so much appreciated if you would subscribe to my channel, like the video if you enjoy it, and maybe leave a comment down below. These simple clicks would mean a lot to the future of this channel and really reward the effort that I put in every day. And now, without further ado, let's go. Here is my story. I'm Michael, and I've been married to Ellie for 7 years. We had what I thought was a strong relationship, but I guess I was wrong. Let me tell you about the series of events that changed everything for me. It all started when I got injured at work. I'm a construction manager, and an accident on site left me with a busted knee. The doc said I needed to take a 6-week break to recover. Luckily, my job's insurance covered it, so I didn't have to worry about finances. I was looking forward to spending time at home, maybe catch up on some books or shows. But Ellie, she had other plans. Just a few days into my recovery, she announced she wanted to go on a mini vacation. I found it odd considering my situation, but she insisted it was something she needed. When I suggested I could join her, she shot the idea down immediately. She said it was against doctor's orders. My wife went on vacation, but I don't remember the doc saying anything about not traveling. I let it go, thinking maybe she needed some space. You know, the stress of having an injured husband and all. So off she went on her vacation, and I stayed home, mostly watching TV and feeling a bit lonely. When Ellie returned, something felt off. She was distant, and whenever I tried to ask about her trip, she'd give vague answers. It was like she wasn't really there with me. You know, that's when the seeds of doubt started sprouting in my head. I tried to shake off these feelings, but I couldn't. I needed to know what was going on. So, I did something I never thought I'd do. I hired a private investigator. It sounds extreme, but I just had to know. The investigator did his thing. And after a couple of weeks, he came back with news that knocked the wind out of me. Ellie had been seen with another man during her vacation. They had pictures and everything. It felt like a punch in the gut. I confronted Ellie as soon as she got home. I remember my hands were shaking, and my voice was all hoarse. "Ellie, we need to talk," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. She looked at me, a flicker of confusion passing over her face. "What's wrong, Michael? You look upset." I couldn't hold back any longer. I picked up the photos and held them out to her. "Can you explain this?" My voice was shaking now. Ellie took the photos, her eyes widening as she looked at them. For a moment, she said nothing, just stared at the evidence of her betrayal. "Michael," she started, but her voice trailed off. "Do you know how this feels to see these while I'm here recovering from an injury?" I was raising my voice now, the pain and betrayal turning into anger. "I trusted you, Ellie, and you were with someone else." She looked up, tears starting to form in her eyes. "I made a mistake, Michael. I was confused, lost. I never meant to hurt you." "A mistake? Is that what you call this?" I was on my feet now, my injured knee protesting. "You didn't just make a mistake, Ellie. You made a choice. And now I'm making mine." Ellie's face crumpled, and she reached out towards me. "Please, Michael, let's talk about this. We can fix it." I stepped back out of her reach. "Fix it? How can we fix this? How can I ever trust you again?" "Michael, I love you. I really do," she pleaded. "I don't think you understand what love means, Ellie. Love isn't deceit and betrayal." I took a deep breath, feeling a sense of finality washing over me. "I want a divorce. I can't be with someone who doesn't respect our marriage." Ellie's tears were flowing freely now, but I felt like my own had dried up long ago. "Michael, please, no. Ellie, it's over. You need to leave." My voice was firm, but inside, I felt like I was shattering into a million pieces. She stood there for a moment, looking like she wanted to say more. But then, with a final sob, she turned and walked out of the room. I heard the front door close quietly behind her. I sat back down, the room suddenly feeling too big, too empty. It was the hardest thing I'd ever had to do. But in that moment, I knew it was the only choice I had left. Looking back, I wonder if there were signs I missed. Were there moments I overlooked? But then I realized that maybe it's not about what I missed, but about what I'm going to do next. I'm still recovering, both from my injury and from this betrayal. But I've learned that life can throw curveballs. And sometimes, all you can do is adjust your stance and keep playing. I don't know what the future holds for me, but I'm taking it one day at a time. For anyone reading this, just know that sometimes the most unexpected events lead you to a path of self-discovery, hopefully a better tomorrow. Thanks for listening to my story. It's been therapeutic to write it all down. Update: Hey everyone, it's Michael again. I never thought I'd be back with an update, but a lot has happened since my last post. I wanted to share this because, well, it's been a whirlwind of emotions. It was around 2 a.m. I was jolted awake by the loud banging on the front door. Groggy and still in pain from my knee, I stumbled to the door, wondering who could possibly be there at this ungodly hour. Opening the door, I was met with the sight of Ellie. Her hair was disheveled, her eyes red and swollen from crying. She looked like a shadow of the woman I once knew. "Michael, please let me in. I need to talk to you," she sobbed, her voice filled with desperation. "Ellie, what are you doing here? It's 2 in the morning. You can't be here, I said, my heart racing with a mix of concern and frustration. I have nowhere else to go. I've messed up everything, and I just need someone to talk to, she pleaded, trying to step past me into the house. I blocked her pass. No, Ellie, you can't just show up here like this. We're getting a divorce, remember? You made your decision. But, Michael, I made a mistake. I still love you. Can't we just talk? Her voice was breaking, and she reached out to grab my arm. I pulled away, feeling a surge of anger. Love, is that what you call it after what you did? You can't just expect me to forget everything and play the comforting husband. She tried to push past me again, more forcefully this time. I just need to. I called the police. Explain. Please, Ellie, stop. I raised my voice, trying to keep her at bay. You can't just barge in here and disrupt my life again. What you did, it's not something that can be fixed with a late-night chat. Her sobs grew louder, and she slumped against the door frame. Please, Michael, I have nowhere else to go. I'm sorry, so sorry. I felt a pang of sympathy but stood my ground. I'm sorry too, Ellie, but this isn't right. You need to leave. When she didn't move, I realized I had no other choice. I'm calling the police, Ellie. You need to leave now. She looked up at me, a mix of hurt and disbelief in her eyes. You would call the cops on me. For both our sakes, yes, you need help, Ellie, but not the kind I can give. After dialing the police, I watched as they arrived and spoke to Ellie. She didn't resist as they led her away, her figure looking small and defeated under the flashing lights. Closing the door, I leaned against it, feeling drained. It was a sad, painful chapter in our lives, and I hoped that one day, both of us would find a way to heal and move on. Things escalated quickly. Ellie tried to push past me into the house. It was surreal, seeing her like this, desperate and not the person I thought I knew. I managed to hold her back, but I didn't want to hurt her, you know. It was just a lot to handle, especially in my still recovering state. I had no choice but to call the cops. They arrived pretty fast. And it was a scene straight out of a drama show, my estranged wife crying, police officers trying to calm her down, and me standing there in my pajamas just trying to process it all. The officers asked if I wanted to press charges for trespassing, but I couldn't do it. Despite everything, I couldn't bring myself to add more to her plate, even though she brought all this upon herself. People do make dumb decisions under pressure, and I get that. It doesn't excuse what she did, but I understand it in a way. They took her away to cool off for the night. I went back to bed, but sleep was the last thing on my mind. I kept thinking about how pressure, self-inflicted or not, can really mess with your head. It's no excuse for hurting others, but it does make you do things you never thought you'd do. So, that's the update. It's a lot to take in, and I'm still trying to make sense of it all. I'm focusing on healing, physically and emotionally. This whole ordeal has been a roller coaster, but I'm learning a lot about myself and about life in general. Thanks again for reading. Your support means a lot during these crazy times. Wow, the audacity isn't the saying don't kick them while they are down. I think she needs to hear that. Anyways, let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. That's the story. If you liked it, please support us with a like as well as subscribe to our channel. Write in the comments what you think about the story. Thank you for being here with us.